Super Mario Galaxy. Yeah, you already know it. You already love it. That's why you're here. It's no question this is one of the greatest games of all time. But with 121 stars to collect, there's bound to be some stinkers. And oh boy, are some stinky. So let's rank them all. Just to preface, although this is a ranking, once we get past the straight up bad stars, I honestly think the vast majority here range from good to straight up perfect. So just because your favorite star is ranked number 67 doesn't mean I hate it. It's probably really good. It's Mario Galaxy. It's a pretty good game. But without further ado, let's launch star straight into it. This is every star in Super Mario Galaxy ranked. Bullet Bill on your back. Oh my goodness. Now, I thought Mario Galaxy borrowed all the best elements from Mario Sunshine. The levels progressively telling a story throughout missions, the wacky one-off platforming stars. But holy crap, I didn't realize it also brought over the agonizing, pull out your hair, infuriating objectives as well, but condensed it all into this one star. The beginning of this star is actually pretty good. It plays like any old Mario Galaxy mission. Super fun, great mechanics, alright. Then you find this secret launch star and realize you found a hidden star. Let's go. But then you see what you have to do to get it. And that's to ground pound the switch and have a Bullet Bill follow you the entire way down to hit this cage the star is in. The only problem? There's a bunch of dry bones in the way and the Bullet Bill wants to hit everything but the cage. And if the Bullet Bill breaks, you have to hit the switch, wait for it to go all the way down and restart the whole process over again. It would be hard enough to do without the dry bones too. The Bullet Bill is supposed to track your movement, but I'm telling you, it literally will nosedive into the ground for no reason. Throw that on top of the dry bones in your way, and this is a horribly unfun and time-wasting star.
No. Wait.
It took me 4 straight minutes of training this stupid Bullet Bill. Most bad Galaxy missions are at worst mediocre, but Bullet Bill's on your back is every bad Mario Sunshine mission wrapped into one. This is easily the worst, most infuriating jank star in the game. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 120 for what is just a silly race against Cosmic Mario. That's insane. Well, by itself, the Sea Slide is pretty cool. The multiple points of interest all connected through a moving water tunnel is super creative, and looks like a blast to run around in. Where the issue comes from is the ordering of this star. So, let me list off the other stars in the Seaside Galaxy. First in, going after Guppy. You race to the end of the Sea Slide Galaxy. Pretty cool. Then in Faster Than a Speeding Penguin, you race to the end of Seaside Galaxy. Okay, just plagiarism. Now, in Underwater Cosmic Mario Race, you race to the end of the Seaside Galaxy. It's the same star 3 times. This isn't just reheating other stars' leftovers. This is reheating the spoiled chicken you left thawed in the fridge too long and forgot to cook, so it's all slimy and putrid smelling and makes you feel irresponsible for even interacting with it. Okay, sorry. I'm good. Star Bunnies in the Snow. Chase stars have always been a soft spot of mine, whether it be Mips in 64 or Shadow Mario in Sunshine. However, Star Bunnies in the Snow is one of the most annoying, time-wasting stars in Mario history. Clearing the bunnies through the snow while flipping the switches and clearing the snow with the Starbit cursor is a pat your head rubbing your stomach level of difficulty level. It comes off simple, but it's secretly quite difficult. It's also not that fun, so I can't reward its frustrating nature. Alright, let's talk about purple coins. Mario Galaxy has 17 purple coin stars once you beat the game. And in general, I'm not a huge fan. I get their involvement in the game is to be seen as bonus content that takes fairly minimal effort to program. However, these basically all range from boring to bad to diabolically boring and bad. So the first chunk of purple coin stars are ones I think are genuinely horrible and actively aggravating. I'll try not to spend too much time on each since they all kind of share the same problems. But first up is purple coins by the Seaside. This is possibly one of the most diabolically boring, monotonous, and punishing stars in Mario Galaxy. It takes about 10 minutes minutes to complete, and has you traversing the level using the bee suit to jump from cloud to cloud. Mess up and fall in the water? Well, swim your way to the nearest bee mushroom and keep trucking along. The coins are spread out so far, it's not even funny. This isn't fun. This isn't creative. It's just boring. You couldn't have made a worse purple coin star in this game. The Honey Hive's purple coins. The Honey Hive purple coin mission is here for many of the same reasons as the Seaside mission. Although it's easy, it's painfully boring to comb over every single inch of this level to reach 100 coins. Some are single coins that are placed in spots that feel like the devs were actively trying to waste your time. I hate it. Battle Station's purple coins. A purple coin star through an auto scroller. Oh boy, this is one of those stars that you either get in one attempt or spend a week cussing and throwing your remote on the ground. The coins are located in simple places. However, you just need to be perfect 100 times in a row. If you miss one coin, the run is over and it's time to restart. This level is diabolical. Not in a boring way, but in a perfectly masochistic way. Plunder the purple coins. If there's anything I hate more than purple coins, it's the swimming mechanics in this game. Put them together and you get plunder the purple coins. It's boring, frustrating, and slow. It just sucks. The Star Festival. This one requires some explanation to understand why it's so low. With most Mario games, the final level is a challenge so intense or difficult that it puts all your skills to the test. The perfect run from 3D World is seriously one of the most blood-pumping feats of strength in any Mario game. So after collecting all 120 stars in Mario Galaxy as Mario, then collecting all 120 again as Luigi, you're told to go to the Grand Finale Galaxy. And what is it? A challenge gauntlet similar to the Fate of the Universe, but maybe even harder? No. Run around in this intro level and get some purple coins. An utter disappointment, and one that stings even harder since it's even more purple coins. As if these haven't been done to death at this point already. Disappointment-wise, it would have landed at the very bottom, but it doesn't take long at all, and I will admit, it is a little nice to go back where it all began and take one last stroll through the Star Festival before 100%ing the game. But maybe not that nice. Still baffling why this is the final star though. Purple coins in the desert. The platforming for this level was fun for the first few times, but this is like the fourth time we've run through this area. It's just not fun grabbing coins. Purple coins on the summit. This one is probably the most aggravating purple coin star out there, and may take you the longest, but because scaling the summit is so fun, it saves it from being the worst purple coin star. Still not good in the slightest, but it has a few things keeping it up. Although, those hidden coins tucked away under the ice slide is actually Mario Sunshine levels of diabolical. Bubble Blast Off. This star seems creative at first glance, with the Monty Mole boss fight in the beginning, but this star is actually secretly a thinly veiled attempt to waste your time and make you angry. The first 80% of this level feels like padding we've already done before, but worse. The ice flower puzzle makes no sense unless you've seen a playthrough. The actual platforming isn't any fun, but the piece de resistance is the horrible ending. This star ends with one of the worst executed and thought out mechanics in the game. Ground pounding the moving tennis balls while rings of fire shoot off is nothing short of agonizing. Not because I suck at this level, trust me, I'm really good, but because it's pure chaos. You can't time your ground pounds because of the fire rings, and kind of just need to ground pound and pray. Maybe I'm being too mean to the star, but it's part of the Garden Dome, which are all the final most challenging levels of the game. These should put our skills to the test, but not our patience to the limit. But with those other 11 stars out of the way, I would say we're done with the straight up offensive stars. I may not like some of the next few we talk about, but I don't actively dread them on replays. Through the Poison Swamp. This star has one of the few mechanics I would say I outright don't like. I'm already not a huge fan of forced motion controls. Grabbing star bits is fun because it's a side activity you kind of do while flying or moving around, but having to blow near the bubble and blow Mario around is just not fun in and of itself. Take that and put him in a gross poison swamp with insta-death mines, and this is one annoying star I always grimace through upon playthroughs. What sucks sucks is the gameplay already isn't fun, but you can't just speedrun to get it over with because the screen is so zoomed in, you can't properly avoid a mine if you're going too fast. This is one of the few Galaxy mechanics that swung and missed. Bad level. Watch your step. Creativity-wise, this level is excellent, with the level disappearing and reappearing. Besides that though, it's an absolute bore to play through. It's basically a more complicated auto-scroller that takes upwards of 5 minutes, even if you don't die. And with this being a part of the bonus hard stages of this game, chances are you'll die a lot. The first part of this level is deceptive, because the way it generates platforms through the bouncing lines is completely different to the rest of the level. If the rest of the level was designed like this section, it would be way lower. However, it's not. It's an auto-scroller in disguise, and one where you can't see ahead of you. What a terrible idea. Guppy in the underground lake. I never liked Guppy. He looks like a giant weirdo I would avoid if I saw him in public. That big ol' creepy smile, the lackadaisical eyes. Stay away from me. Racing him in this underground lake isn't even fun since we've already done a star just like it. This star is bad and so is Guppy. Release the Guppy files. Yoshi's unexpected appearance. In this level, you stomp on 20 Goombas. That's literally it. I'm not really sure how to analyze this. You just stomp on 20 Goombas. That's the star. The flip switch chain. The flip switch level is here because if we were being frank, it's just not that fun. I usually like flip switch challenges, but something about this one just didn't hit that nerve. The camera in this level is super wonky. The switches are in very odd positions, making this more of a scavenger hunt than a platforming challenge. And I wasn't proud of myself when I beat it. I was just happy to be done. It's also a Hungry Luma hidden star, but nothing about this is satisfying to find and complete. Beach coming for purple coins. Since Beach Bowl is pretty small, the purple coins aren't hidden away like other stars. They also somehow shoved the spring power-up in here. Still boring, but not horrible. Purple coins in the bone pen. Is this star well made? No. Did they playtest this area? No. Did I enjoy my time with it? I'm not really sure. It might just be a Stockholm Syndrome type deal here, but something about this star is endearing, and I'm kind of glad it exists. It's not a good star in the slightest. You will 100% fail it your first try, but it's kind of fun in a stupid way. So yeah, purple coins in the woods. This star actually includes some platforming and is fairly linear. Not that fun, but I'm not pulling my hair out. Purple coins on Battle Rock. Basically, the Dreadnought auto-scroller purple coin star, but a bit easier. The platform moves slowly enough where if you miss a coin, you can sometimes get it just in time. But yeah, still not that fun. Sandblast speedrun. The original level was just alright, but going through a level again that already felt like padding feels like even more padding. Honey Hive Cosmic Mario Race. Cosmic Mario stars aren't horribly offensive or anything, but most of them just aren't that fun. Mario's moveset in Galaxy is much slower with Mario, not really carrying momentum between moves. For the rest of the game, that's spiced up by amazing level design, creative mechanics, and gimmicks that work perfectly. But for pure platforming races against Cosmic Mario, it's just not that fun. Add on top of that, the Honey Hive Cosmic Mario Race is so painfully easy. Even ignoring long jumps or shortcuts, you will still beat this level without breaking a sweat. I legit sat and waited for Cosmic Mario for 20 seconds just to see if I bugged the game or not. I get it's the first of the Cosmic Mario races, but it doesn't make it any more fun. Luigi on the roof. This is the first hunt for Luigi star, and the gimmick for these is just to find Luigi using whatever postcard he sends you. In the grand scheme of the game, these are fun little bonus stars, but compared to actual levels in the game, jumping onto the roof of this house and getting a star is by default a higher ranked star. It just can't compare to any level with actual meat on its bones. Again, we are out of the offensive stars, so not bad, but it just doesn't compare to a real level. Luigi under the saucer. The original level is fun as a one-off auto-scroller due to the spectacle and star bits to collect, but having to sit through it again because Luigi decided to get trapped in the worst spot possible is just not fun. Getting the bullet bill to follow me under not one but two saucers without hitting something else is surprisingly frustrating too.
She sells seashells on a seashore.
Luigi in the Honey Hive Kingdom. Luigi is scared of bugs. Mario shoos off a bug and saves Luigi. That's the star. You know, I don't hate it. It's cute. All these stars can't be masterpieces.
But the value of these shells will fall.
Purple coin omelet. As purple coin stars go, this is pretty inoffensive. All the coins are basically in a straight line, and losing the star is basically impossible. I still wouldn't call it fun, but it's not that bad. Dino Piranha Speedrun. This is the first speedrun comet from Mario Galaxy, and just like with most comets, I feel like this is just padding. Not only is this just the same level again, but the timer has 2 more minutes than it needs. I understand it's an early speedy comet, but I really wish they made the timer shorter to give this easy early star some challenge. Top Man Tribe Speedrun. For a level that was a test of patience and positioning, the Top Man Tribe Speedrun throws all of that out the window to force you to move as fast as possible to get to the end of the level. Again, not offensive or anything, but most Comet Stars I just don't enjoy as much the second time around. Treasure of the Pyramid. An auto-scrolling puzzle level where you have to use the sand levels to traverse the pyramid and find 5 silver stars. Pretty neat idea. Too bad it's not fun. The Underground Ghost Ship. The actual deep dark galaxy itself is pretty cool, but this level feels like they took a handful of concepts already done before and threw them in a blender. Shoot up a planet to defeat enemies, open gates with fire, swim through an overly long tunnel, fight Camelo, which we've already done before. Again, the level itself looks cool, but besides that, this is just recycling the level. Ghost Ship Daredevil Run. So this is just the Camelo boss fight with 1 health and minus the slog to get up to the ship. These 2 stars are both separate types of meh in my eyes. Not bad, but just forgettable. King Finn's Fearsome Waters. One of the only levels that has an intro cutscene. It's actually pretty cool and builds up to this epic boss fight against King Finn. But then you just hit him with 3 shells and it's over. Not bad, just super underwhelming. Red Hot Purple Coins. Another purple coin star, but you can just tell here that they put a lot more effort in. The coins are placed in what feels like purposeful positions that challenge the player and force them to think of creative solutions on how to reach them. The platforming here is also pretty top notch as it pertains to Melting Molten Galaxy as a whole. We're finally at a purple coin star that I don't dislike. Mario meets Mario. Collect the silver stars on this giant Mario. It's pretty creative gameplay wise, but not that interesting. Passing the swim test. Grab the golden shell from one of the penguins in the water. That's it. I feel like this one was added in last second because, like, what is that? The bell on the big tree. You see, there's a bell on this big tree. So if you go to the big bell on the big tree and ring it, you get a star. Next, Star Bunnies on the Hunt. This is a fun scavenger hunt in Golden Leaf Galaxy. It's simple, but it's fun. Also, a decent use of the bee suit here. The only reason this star is this high is not only has chasing a bunny been done many times before at this point in the game, but the Gold Leaf Galaxy is legit just a flipped version of the Honey Hive Galaxy. So this is just a tired star all around. Purple coin on the puzzle cube. With only a 2.5 minute timer on such a small cube, this purple coin star is really just fine. Although the actual objective is tired at this point, it doesn't waste your time. And that just cannot be said about most of the other purple coin stars. Sinking airships. With how cool all the Bowser and Bowser Jr. Grand Star levels are, and coming after the incredible Mega Leg boss fight, sinking the airships is a super underwhelming Bowser Jr. fight. This feels like any regular old level and an average one at that. But as a Grand Star level, this is just disappointing. All you do is use a cannon and shoot to a couple ships, then throw shells at Bowser Jr.'s ship. That's it. No elaborate boss fight or fake out. Just throw shells at Bowser Jr. Really lame. A very sticky situation. This isn't bad per se, but I just don't think the sling pods are fun at all. There's a good amount of challenge here, which saves it, but yeah, sling pods, more like snore pods. Cosmic Mario Forest Race. One of the few Cosmic Mario races that can pose any real challenge. It's still not super difficult, but if you make any big mistakes, you'll likely lose. It's not bad, but once again, the Cosmic Mario races just aren't that fun due to Mario's moveset in Galaxy. Purple Coin Spacewalk. The quickest purple coin star and what all the purple coin stars should have been. Not a tediously long trek through the entire level taking 10 minutes, but a small chunk of a level with a little challenge. Obviously, this still isn't groundbreaking, but I actually thought this one was fun. Polestar Path Speedrun. Pull star path, but do it quickly. What Galaxy lacks in intense kinetic gameplay, it makes up for in spades with vibes and atmosphere. The Pull star path level itself isn't actually that fun, but it was the soundtrack and atmosphere behind it that made it so memorable. Strip that away and force the player to go as fast as you can? Gross. Since there's no way to die until the very last section, this one is super easy. No challenge, no vibes, no fun. Blasting through the sand. The first part of this star is finding pull stars on a planetoid where the sand is constantly pushing you forward. This is fun, but it's always a pain when the camera disorients you and you have to go through it again with the shell to break the chest. The final part is just running between sides of the planet to push down a lever and get the star. It just feels like busy work and not very inspiring. Wasn't that fun to me. Golden Chomp, one of the few secret stars in the game. It's pretty neat to stumble upon it in the middle of the Gusty Garden Galaxy Scramble level. But I mean, all you do is run through a golden chomp. You can't really rank it much higher. Burning Tide. Wait for the lava tide to go down to get each of the silver stars. It's a creative concept, but not really mechanically stimulating beyond it looking neat. It's alright. Shrinking Satellite. These little green platforms go away when you step on them, so grab all the music notes before falling into the black hole. This one isn't really hard at all unless you purposely take a hard route. It's creative though, and our first introduction to the shrinking platforms. Boo in a Box. Listen, say what you want about Mario Galaxy, but they aren't lying when it comes to their titles. There 100% is a boo in this box. Is the star fun though? Yeah, sure. It's alright. Fast Foes of Toy Time. Basically the flip switch chain, but better because of all the added challenge. Still not my favorite flip switch level, but cutting out the Hungry Luma part and making this harder made it a good deal more fun. Painting the planet yellow. Run over the panels to flip all the switches yellow while avoiding spiky platforms and these laser shockwaves. The panel mechanic gets fleshed out later in the game, but this level is just too short and easy to be ranked much lower. Faster than a speeding penguin. The star directly before this one on the same level was a race against a guppy. So the very next star, literally being the exact same race on the exact same level, is just lazy. It's a fun race, but this star is just reheating the original's leftovers. The Silver Stars of Sea Slide. Sea Slide Galaxy's 4th star, and finally a star that isn't a race. All you have to do here is collect 5 silver stars around the level, and although it isn't anything too interesting, I cannot tell you what a relief it is to not have to race in the water. Also, it has a good use of the bee mushroom when getting to the top of the tree. The Electric Labyrinth. Part of the green launch star trio of challenges. The Electric Labyrinth has you back into this cursed bubble, maneuvering electricity through 5 separate areas to get launch star pieces. Again, I really just don't care for the bubble mechanics in this game, but this is the best use of it. The actual challenge is good, and you really do have to lock in to get this one done. Again, if you love the bubble mechanic, then this deserves much higher, but I don't. So that's why it's in the middle of the road. Major Burrow's Daredevil Run. The Major Burrow boss fight, but with 1 health. The actual boss fight is a fun end to a fun level, but isn't challenging in the slightest. On its own, it's just good and nothing else. Giant Eel Outbreak. The eels are keeping the penguins from enjoying their super tiny planet of water. So you have to defeat all 3 of them while avoiding the Torpedo Teds. Yes, that is the actual name of this enemy. It's a fine star, but nothing too special. Matter Splatter Mansion. A pretty easy to spot star inside the ghostly galaxy, with the glowing rock just asking to be hit, but the actual level itself is also pretty alright. You have to keep up with what's essentially an auto-scroller as the level disappears behind you. It's not my favorite star, but it's not bad. Hurry, he's hungry! This is just an upgraded, harder version of the Shrinking Satellite Galaxy, and the added difficulty from more notes makes it so you actually have to be careful where you step. Super simple though, so I can't rank it much lower. Sunken Treasure. I'm a sucker for beach-themed levels, and especially in Galaxy games, all these levels with penguins are super charming. But despite the great music and theming, the gameplay in this one is pretty plain. Swim through the water to find the launch star pieces, then make your way to the top of the hill. Nothing too crazy or mind-blowing, it's just alright. Trouble on the Tower. Make your way up to the Honey Hive Kingdom and face off against the Mandibug. The actual journey to the top of the tower is a lot of fun. You have to jump up platforms, start up the windmill, but the actual boss fight against the Mandibug is thoroughly underwhelming. I'm not even sure if this counts as a boss fight, as it's over in 2 seconds. But it does have the classic black bars while the enemy gets mad cutscenes, so I think it was intended to be one. Overall, a good journey, but a face-planted destination. Lava Spire Daredevil Run. Holy crap, this may just be the hardest level in the game. As a whole, the Daredevil runs aren't actually too hard. They're usually just boss fights, but with 1 health. However, this Daredevil run isn't just the whole entire level, but the hardest level of the game at that. This is a crazy gauntlet of challenges where you try to avoid all things fire, from lava spurting out of the ground to fire planetoids as you use pole stars, to even a giant sinking volcano by the end of it. 1 or 2 of these challenges by themselves with 1 health. Sure, that's fine. But the entire level where you have to restart from the beginning if you fail, it feels cruel. Shiggy betrayed us. The section where you have to grab the launch star fragments on the moving lava planet especially is star-worthy in and of itself. I can't tell you how many times I died here, but I can tell you it took me 20 minutes to finally beat it. I love a good challenge, and I can totally see some people putting the star super low because they like the Dark Souls type challenge. But for me, this is a great level turned worse due to the 1-hit limit. Some call it a skill issue, I call it a common sense issue. Luigi's Purple Coins. This can actually be a pretty challenging star. You have to be super precise where you jump, and what spaces you have left. It feels like one of the few purple coin stars that adds extra challenge without feeling like padding. B. Mario Takes Flight, the first mission in Honey Hive Galaxy, and our first introduction to the B power-up. Now look, Galaxy excels in a lot of things, but power-ups is just not one of them. They are novel and aren't too intrusive, and it's actually pretty funny seeing Mario in a bee costume, but that doesn't make them fun. I never understood why the bee power-up still slows you down when you're in the honey, but for an intro to this power-up, it's alright. Hovering from flower to flower, avoiding the water, then climbing the honeycombs is pretty fun. I will say though, having to crawl around the queen bee while she makes these weird noises just feels weird, but overall, it's a good star. Battle Rock's Garbage Dump. The hate for this one is kind of overblown in my opinion. You're tasked with throwing bombs to blow up all the garbage in a set amount of time. Only catch, you have to be flawless. A single missed throw or hesitation means you need to restart. Would the kid version of me absolutely put this one at 120 because of how long it took me back then? Absolutely. But do you literally just have to throw the bombs around each gold spot on the floor? Yes. This one isn't bad. Dreadnought's Garbage Dump. The exact same thing down to the spots on the ground. Only reason it's above the first one is because on second try, it's even easier. A snack of cosmic proportions. The second level in the Good Egg Galaxy. This one is relatively similar to the first one, with you going planet to planet, but instead of a cool boss fight, you have to feed these greedy ass hungry Lumas. The goal just being to grab 100 star bits is a little mundane, but once you feed him, you get sent to this glass section along with your first taste of the gravity switching mechanic. This part bumps up a so far alright star to pretty cool, and I always like cheesing this final section and just long jumping to the star. Going After Guppy, the first race of Seaside Galaxy. And although I crashed out over this race being recycled 3 times, if you count this start's merits by itself, it's an alright star. Scaling the Sticky Wall. Scale the Sticky Wall. Yep, that's it. The bee power-up is only really fun when used on these honey pads. So with this being a short, sweet climb up the wall, avoiding obstacles and grabbing the star, it does its job. It's fun. Luigi in the Haunted Mansion. Journey through the Haunted Mansion in Ghostly Galaxy and rescue Luigi. The music and overall backdrop here is awesome. Having to lead a Boo into the light to grab a key is cool, and all the little challenges leading up to Luigi are pretty fun. But then it kind of face plants with the Boo power-up. All you do is shake your Wiimote once and you go through the bars and boom, that's the end. There's no challenge alongside it. Kind of a waste of a really fun level. Secret of Buoy Base. Not really sure why this is labeled as a Luigi Green Star when it's just a secret star. but it's pretty fun. The homing bullets have been really hit or miss so far, but this one feels fair and it's a fun star to stumble upon. Battle Rock Barrage. I'm usually not a big auto-scroller fan, but man, come on, this is Battle Rock Galaxy. It looks awesome. The actual path towards the star is a little too easy, but due to the spectacle and fun of grabbing star bits while you wait, this is a solidly good one. Polestar Path. Our first introduction to Polestars. Just like Mario Galaxy as a whole, there's not a lot of challenge here, but where it lacks in intense gameplay, it makes up for with vibes. Pulling yourself from star to star with the now iconic piano track behind you is just peak cinema. The final section is the only difficult part of the level where you have to gather the 5 silver stars while the platforms away from you disappear. A very spooky spirit. Beat the Boo in a race using Polestars. This is a super quick and not very difficult one, but a good deal of fun. Boo looks so goofy in those goggles. I love it. Top Maniac's Daredevil Run. Beat the Top Maniac boss fight on 1 health. The original boss fight is really fun and creative, but not too challenging. So having just 1 health makes it just about perfect. Since it's just the boss fight, I can't rank it too much lower, but this is a good one. Grand Star Rescue. The first level in the game, and a damn good one at that. It officially kicks off once Mario gains the spin jump and sets off to, you guessed it, rescue the Grand Star. There's nothing super fancy here, with it acting as more of an introduction to the game's mechanics than anything, but it's where you get your first taste of fighting enemies, collecting star fragments, and avoiding black holes. It does basically nothing wrong and sets up a perfect foundation for the rest of the game. The only reason it isn't ranked lower is because the game only gets better from here. Choosing a favorite snack. The only level from this game, if I recall, that lets you choose between 2 separate power-ups to complete the challenge. So this star gets big novelty points for that. Then the real challenge is using the star power-up and running to the center of this spiral formation. It can actually be really tricky, but hey, we've got nothing else like it, so even more novelty points. Camella's Airship Attack. Jump from airship to face off against Camella. Dodging the fireballs while taking the green shells is a great mechanic. This may still be an early game boss fight, but it's got a lot of charm. Bunnies in the Wind, the first Gusty Garden level, and I try not to have music influence a level too much because gameplay is what's most important, but dude, it's Gusty Garden, one of the greatest songs in gaming history. The actual gameplay of Bunnies in the Wind is actually pretty simple. Ride these flowers in the breeze and jump from area to area until you have to chase down and catch a bunny. It's a pretty plain level carried by one of the greatest songs ever on it. Dino Piranha, the first real level of this game, and man, it is a good one. The Good Egg Galaxy, along with its stellar music, hits you like a bag of star bits when you first play. With it being the first official level and all, the gameplay is relatively simple. Defeat enemies, collect star bits, and planet hop around until you happen upon a baby dino piranha. For some reason, Mario cracks his egg and smacks his tail. Then, when this newborn gets reasonably mad, Mario straight up kills him. Morals aside, it is a great first boss fight and first level of the game. It teaches you how to use your spin not only as a mobility option, but as an attack as well. Mario may be a cold-blooded killer, but at least he looks cool doing it. Terrantrox's Dangled Web. Mario yet again attacks and sends an innocent animal that possesses no threat to us into the cold abyss of space. But is it fun? Yeah. Having to avoid Tantrox's acid attacks while using the sling pods is a great use of a mechanic I usually don't enjoy. Cataquack to the Skies. The Gold Leaf Galaxy, although having some good stars, always kind of felt just like padding due to it just being an asset swapped version of the Honey Hive Galaxy. But Cataquack to the Skies is actually really solid. Having to use the Cataquacks to launch you far enough to be pulled by another planet's gravity is such a great idea. And on top of that, the B power-up gets more time to shine and actually feels useful here instead of a hindrance, and this is one great star. Big Mouth's Gold Bait. The star hidden behind a golden chest, only unlocked with a golden Koopa shell. So you have to journey through the gravity-defying ghost in eel-infested waters to get to it. It's a really fun star, and I've always really liked the ethereal atmosphere on this one. Gusty Garden's Gravity Scramble. Using switches, change gravity's direction and make your way to the star. Considering it's one of Galaxy's biggest hooks, I really like the levels where you change gravity. It's nothing too insane, but just a thoroughly good time all throughout. Gateway's purple coins. The only purple coin star I actually think was fun. Not just from the great additional Rosalina cutscene, but this level introduced the red star that lets Mario fly. It's a crime this power-up wasn't used more, but hey, it's fun here. The Gateway planet is just small enough to make the purple coins not a pain in the ass to get, and it's great to come back to after it's been so long. Bouldergeist Daredevil Run. No spoilers, but the Bouldergeist level and boss fight is really good. The Daredevil run has you fighting the boss with just 1 health, and this one can actually be pretty tricky. The boss itself isn't too hard, but it is pretty easy to get hit once during it, so you have to be extra careful. I had fun replaying this boss with the harder difficulty. Frosty Cosmic Mario Race. I may be rating this one a bit low for what is literally just a minute-long race, but I think it's really fun. The skating mechanic is already a fast, cool addition when on ice, so having to make it to the end first makes it a ton of fun. Rolling in the clouds. The introduction to the rolling ball mechanic. I think this is really hit or miss for a lot of people. Much like the bubble mechanic for the Poison Swamp, I can understand if people find the controls frustrating and annoying, but for me, it's the perfect amount of jank and challenge. Having to use the Wiimote to balance the ball and slowly turn to make your way across the platforms is a ton of fun. It can be tricky at first, but you'll totally get the hang of it by the end. On replays of Galaxies, I always look forward to this one. Freeze Flame's Blistering Core. Make your way to the core of the lava planet using the Fire Flower. The aesthetic of this one is really cool, and having to aim your fireballs under pressure can be a bit harder than you'd expect. This one's pretty fun though. Hot and Cold Collide. The Freeze Flame Galaxy is one of my favorites, and funny enough, this is the only actual level where there's both freeze and flame. The first area where you have to spin faucets to unlock gates is not that fun, but the ending sequence skating towards the star is really neat. The last stretch can be tricky if you aren't focused, because you can run out of your ice flower if you're not quick enough, or fall off the edge if you're going too fast. The Frozen Peak of Baron Burr. This level is our introduction to the skating and ice flower power-up. The skating is a ton of fun, and the platforming on the way up to Baron Burr makes this a great level. Unfortunately, the actual boss fight is a bit underwhelming. All you do is grab the ice flower and get to where Baron Burr is, then hit him a few times. A bit of a face-planted ending, but still an overall creative level. Fiery Dino Piranha. Make your way through the lava-covered gauntlet to have a rematch against a fiery Dino Piranha. Getting to the Dino Piranha is pretty fun. It feels like you're in a collapsing lava supernova with all the crazy fire and lava gushing everywhere. The actual boss fight itself is just a harder version of the Dino Piranha, which is nice since the original was extremely easy. His tail lights on fire this time, which makes you have to time when to go up and smack it. That and his increased speed and fireballs he shoots out makes this a boss fight that makes you do the good old gamer sit-up to complete. The Secret Undersea Cavern. On today's episode of Mario terrorizing every galaxy he goes to, Mario is told not, I repeat, not, to hit the cracked wall with a shell. So Mario breaks the cracked wall using a shell. The beginning is just fine, but the actual challenge of making your way across the platforming section with the womps, tox boxes, and moving platforms. This can be pretty challenging, especially if you're like me and love to take shortcuts. It's a great platforming section, and that's Mario's bread and butter. A great level. Racing Spooky Speedster. Beat Boo in a race while using a Boo power-up. The Boo power-up feels like such a forgotten, brushed aside power-up in this game that it's kinda crazy. I think it only appears 3 times. One as an introduction where you use it for about 5 seconds. Second in the level where you can just ignore it and beat B Mario. So now at the very end of the game, it feels like it finally got its time to shine. And yeah, it's a super fun race. It's literally the only level in the entire game where the Boo mushroom feels useful and fun. So just for that, I bumped this one a little lower on the list. Surfing 101. Our first introduction to surfing, and I always love the levels when the penguins are just big chillin'. Although I always found it weird how no matter what you chose when the teacher penguin asks if you're a surfer, you have to go through the tutorial anyway. The illusion of choice. Now, some people absolutely despise the motion controlled missions, but I won't lie, I actually like them. Nothing feels too cheesy and the vibes are off the charts. The challenge doesn't come from difficult controls, but the random bumps in the waves. It's a fun challenge. Surfing 101 is a guilty pleasure of mine. When it rains, it pours. I feel like the Galaxy team had to really stretch their brain muscles to make the B power-up fun. The nature of the power-up makes the already slower nature of Galaxy even slower and floaty, but they pulled it off yet again in this level because it's actually a lot of fun. The B power-up goes away if you get wet, so the entire premise of this one is to avoid the rain clouds as you make your way up the tree. That alone is a lot of fun, but the final boss fight being against a water-spraying mole makes this such a creative and fun use of a power-up that could have easily been tossed aside like the spring or the boom mushroom. Gizmos, gears, and gadgets. The third, final, and most difficult rolling ball level of Mario Galaxy. This puts all your training to the test, as one slip up in any part of the level makes you restart all over again. Although this is still one of my favorites, the challenge is just a bit too difficult for me to put it any lower. The challenge from the rolling ball mechanic in the other levels are from the jank and level gimmicks, while the challenge here is from precise timing and tricky platforming. I enjoyed it, and it's a super fun final challenge, but doesn't complement the rolling ball mechanic as much as one of the levels coming up. Again, still one of my favorites though. Top Maniac in the Top Man Tribe. First off, weird name, but second off, this level is awesome. The level is our first introduction to the Top Mans. You have to spin and hit them into the electricity while avoiding being hit yourself. A fun premise, but along with the bonus area you travel to, like the gravity switching 2D section, this is a really good one. The actual boss fight against Top Maniac is a tad easy, but still a great culmination to our first Top Man level. Revenge of the Top Man Tribe. The Dreadnought Galaxy may have just been reheating Battle Rock's lunch mission-wise, but it's hard not to love the amped-up feel of revisiting older ideas with a harder difficulty. This level has you facing off against the Top Mans again, but introducing a few new challenges with them. Having to position them just right to jump on them and then grab a Pulsar fragment is really cool. In the Pulsar section especially, dodging the cannonballs is extremely difficult. Then you face off against an even angrier Top Maniac. Oh boy, this'll be just as fun and hard as the rest of the level, right? Nope, it's just as easy. Still a great level, but man, the Top Man bosses were just not good. King Caliente's Battle Fleet. The more I replay Mario games, the more I appreciate how effortlessly the game teaches you the mechanics. This mission introduces melons, with you first using them to attack a spiky plant, then an enemy, then hitting them back towards the enemies, which all culminates in a boss fight against King Caliente, where you dodge the fireballs and hit back melons. If the game dropped you into the boss fight first thing, some players may be confused on what to do, but because the game organically teaches you the mechanics, how you fight back feels like a no-brainer. Sure, it's a pretty easy fight when you know what you're doing, but as an introduction, it's flawless and a great boss fight. The Sinking Lava Spire. If the Daredevil version of this one felt stupidly impossible, this regular version feels perfect in the difficulty department. Here you can actually appreciate the crazy gauntlet of challenges without getting enraged having to restart for the 15th time. Even with 3 health, this can actually still be pretty tricky, and will constantly make you scavenge coins for the times you get hit. Overall, without the 1 health limit, this is a really great level. Heavy Metal Mecha Bowser. This star has you unscrewing sections of the level to open up pathways and make your way to the Mecha Bowser. This is also the first introduction to the Spring Mushroom, and although the actual power-up itself isn't much of a power-up, it is still a creative addition to this level and makes taking down the Mecha Bowser feel like an entire boss fight with the scope and difficulty of it all. Sand-Baked Sand Castle. This one is all about maneuvering around courses as they go into the sand, and these are super creative. Having to find the launch star pieces while the castle goes up or down is a lot of fun. I especially like this one off section with the Pokey, where you have to hit melons from planet to planet to take down the Pokey. Then the final challenge is to make your way to the top of the castle as it is getting overtaken by sand. It's not too hard, but this entire level is bursting with creativity. Fast foes on the Cyclone Stone. One of the few Daredevil comets that I actually like over the original level. This one takes the already challenging platforming section of the original level and speeds up everything. You have to be especially careful of womps and tox boxes because they can squish you super fast now. This is a ton of fun and a really goofy challenge. Dreadnought's Colossal Cannons. This is basically Battle Rock Barrage but amped up to 11. The beginning platforming section is super creative. Having to spin nuts to make it to the other side while avoiding enemy fire can be pretty tricky. Then you reach the auto scroller, and instead of a mega simple and easy scroller like Battle Barrage, Dreadnought's Colossal Cannons will force you to lock in to beat it. With this being one of the last levels in the game, this is a test of skill for everything you've learned so far. It may take a couple of tries, but it feels super rewarding once you get to the end. Soaring on the Desert Winds. A great level that throws a bunch of things at the wall. Tornadoes that propel you up, quicksand you have to avoid, a 2D section you have to platform through, all culminating in a huge tower you have to scale. This one has a bunch of ingredients that could have dragged it down, but everything works and everything is great. Big Bad Bugaboom. The Bugaboom bugs have taken over the Honey Hive galaxy. Someone call an exterminator.
I believe someone phoned about an animal problem.
Mario may not have an associate's degree from Vermtech, but he's one good bug stomper. This level has you searching the Honey Hive galaxy for the bee power-up, then making your way to face off against the big bad Bugaboom himself. This boss fight pulls off something very impressive, making the bee power-up fun. Having to use the flowers to flick Bee Mario in the air, then position yourself right over the Bugabooms to ground pound can actually be a bit tricky on your first playthrough. Add in the bombs he drops to avoid, and this is one fun boss fight and overall level. Rocky Road. Feed this greedy ass hungry Luma 400 star bits to get to the Rocky Road galaxy. I always enjoy these more abstract weird levels. This is some weirdo sweets themed level with giant forks hovering in the air and I love it. The goal is to make your way through these moving platforms with shaped holes. The long jumps are your best friend here, but if you want to really make it challenging, don't use them at all. This is a super creative, short and fun level. Maybe I'm ranking it too well for how simple it is, but hey, sue me. I really like this one. Megaleg's Moon. Mario Galaxy takes a page out of Shadow of the Colossus of all games and has scaling the boss as part of the level. Megaleg is already such a cool looking boss, so having to run up his leg and avoid bullet bills and making your way to his head is a great spectacle. You then have to use the bullet bills to break the gates protecting the Grand Star and finally the glass as well. Overall, it's a really fun boss fight. I do wish there was a bit more challenge scaling Megaleg himself just because it's such a fun idea, but as it is, you can't complain too much. Through the Meteor Storm. The second rolling ball level of the game, and the aesthetic is great in this one. The moving lava surface while meteors shower down at you makes it super intense. But what's somehow even more intense is this level's difficulty. Having to avoid the holes in the spinning platform can be really tricky, but feels super rewarding after getting to the end and mastering the controls. Overall, this has the perfect amount of challenge and fun that make it the best rolling ball star in the game. The Fiery Stronghold, the first Bowser boss fight, and a great first real challenge when it comes to boss levels. This one puts everything you've learned about gravity to the test, tasking you with staying on the right side of gravity or else you'll fall into the black hole. The Bowser boss fight is just so amazing. It perfectly uses Mario Galaxy's planetoids with you having to train Bowser to jump onto the fire circles of the planet. That with the amazing music playing makes this an intense and epic fight. Darkness on the Horizon. The second Bowser level of the game, and these things only ramp up more and more. This time, the main gameplay is platforming through the levels with holes in the platforms, as well as making your way through scrollers where the gravity changes constantly. This means you always have to be switching sides of the platform you're on to not fall. The boss fight is just as fun the second time as it is the first. This is a great level. Galaxy's Greatest Wave. Is 16 way too high for a gimmick surfing level? Probably, but this is such a creative and fun one. Surfing 101 got you familiar with surfing through a pretty easy 101 course, but get your cowabunga pants on, because this one is a challenge. Galaxy's Greatest Wave is no understatement. The challenge is intense with the water being razor thin. Any slight misinput and you'll be plummeting off the edge. There's even a big loop-de-loop too. Come on. This is awesome. King Caliente's spicy return. As the title implies, this is King Caliente's return. And boy, is he spicy. It's the same boss fight as before, cranked up to 11. The platforms around you will fall into the lava if you stand on them too long, and King Caliente will hit the melons back more times before getting hit. Add in some ice enemies that'll freeze you when hit, and this star takes a super fun, somewhat easy boss, gets rid of the somewhat easy, and makes it much more fun. Wall jumping waterfalls. Easily the best hidden star in the game, by far. Mario Galaxy doesn't really reward you for exploring outside of Galaxy's main mission path, beyond some coins or star bits. But in the Beach Bowl Galaxy, if you look around enough, you'll come across a lone chest tucked away in the corner of the level. Grabbing a shell from underwater and throwing it at the chest, it'll reveal a launch star that takes you to an island of waterfalls and cataquacks. Lead the cataquack over the question coin and it'll give you the Ice Flower power-up. This is awesome because there hasn't been a level to this point where you use the Ice Flower to wall jump up waterfalls, but it feels so obvious and creative when you see it. Finally, once you're at the top of the planet, you'll make a trail on the water under the star and lead a cataquack to launch you up to the top. Such a creative use of the Ice Flower power-up in cataquacks, and this being a star so easily missed makes it all the more special. Bouncing down Cake Lane. Watch out, guys. Mario Galaxy actually made a level where the spring mushroom was fun. Look out your windows, because pigs may be flying as well. In all seriousness, this is a really fun level. Using the spring mushroom to wall jump up the cakes and making your way across the platforms without failing is a lot of fun when the enemies aren't shooting at you like with other spring power-up missions. All the challenges here feel fair and are just funny to see in action. Like, yeah, Spring Mario has to make his way around a scrolling orange cake, avoiding giant forks in the way. What about it? Then later, you have to jump from popsicle to popsicle, then lollipop to lollipop, then over a bunch of ice platforms. Like, this level has 12 different mini challenges, but all of them flow together nicely in this sweets-filled galaxy. And the cherry on top, pun intended, is the final boss fight where you have to use the spring mushroom to ground pound the Mounty Mole. Dude, it's peak. Again, I'm really surprised they made the spring mushroom fun here, but it just works. The Floating Fortress. The Floating Fortress embodies everything Mario Galaxy is going for. Love it or hate it, the gameplay is relatively simple. There's little to no challenge, but damn it if this isn't one hell of a spectacle. The Floating Fortress tasks you with making your way to the top of the fortress by completing multiple mini objectives. First, you have to destroy the way underwater with the Torpedo Teds. Then scale the fortress and get the platforms up and moving again. Then finally grab the star pieces and grab your star. All while one of the greatest tracks from the game plays in the background. This level may not be all that challenging, but it sure as hell is fun and makes you feel cool playing it. This star is cool, and if you like it, you're cool too. In Breaking into Battle Rock, get this, you break metal cages with bob-ombs to free Lumas? But no, seriously, breaking into Battle Rock feels like a proper mission. Not that other Galaxy levels aren't technically missions, but stomp 20 Goombas or blow up garbage are challenges, not missions. Freeing each Luma using bombs, navigating the mines while using pull stars, then actually infiltrating and blowing up the Battle Rock is just too cool. And where it could have just sent you to a platform to collect your final star, making you shoot from a cannon in one final challenge against this gorgeous backdrop? Bro, this is just peak Galaxy. Infiltrating Dreadnought. This star feels like the bigger brother sequel to Breaking into Battle Rock. It's a similar gauntlet of challenges as you make your way inside the Dreadnought. Avoiding these rays of light that do damage is a great new mechanic we hadn't seen until this point, and it forces you to be precise with your movement. There's the gravity switches inside the Dreadnought that let you turn the level on its head, recontextualizing the level over and over. Throw in one final platforming challenge with the rays of light on moving platforms, and you have an all-around stellar star. The dirty tracks of Major Burrows. If Bunnies in the Wind felt like the appetizer for Gusty Gardens, then here's the main course. This is the level that earned the soundtrack behind you. You not only use the flowers to get around again, but you do anything from ground-pounding moles to reveal the path, to making a giant worm bridge to gap between giant apples. This creativity in the level is off the charts. It has the perfect amount of galaxy drug usage, and I love it. It all culminates with a boss fight against Major Burrows. He may be pretty easy, all things considered, but it's a fun end to a nearly perfect level. Conquering the summit feels like a Mario 64 level in the best way possible. It being off to the side of a regular level is such a great touch, so it feels like you discovered something you weren't supposed to. As you can imagine, you need to get to the summit to get the star, but it can actually be pretty difficult. You constantly have to use the fire flower to melt the snowman at the end of certain sections to avoid damage and making it in time before the effect wears off, making it quite the challenge. You can also completely fall off the mountain if you aren't careful, and with the speed challenge and the enemy bats already making this one tricky, this is one awesome level that I love coming back to. Beware of Bouldergeist. Where to begin? Not only is this one of the best boss fights of the game, but the build up to it is a great level in it of itself. Beware of Bouldergeist has everything you want in a great Mario level. Interesting mechanics with the bomb boos you twirl around and use as projectiles. A great difficulty progression going from challenge to challenge, all culminating in a face-off against the Bouldergeist, which puts everything you've learned to the test. Avoiding the rocks he throws at you while using the bomb boos is a ton of fun. And because we've played levels with boss fights against Koopa Shell throwing Kameks, you can even snag the boo early mid-air if you twirl while it's coming at you. This is a great level without the boss fight, but including it makes it an all-timer. This is one of the best levels in Mario Galaxy. And number one, probably shocking no one, is the final level and boss fight to beat the game. I mean, how can you even compete with the level literally called the Fate of the Universe? This challenge gauntlet leading up to the Bowser fight is the culmination of everything you've learned so far. The gravity mechanics and how they influence platforming. The planet-to-planet challenges that bring back every biome and hazard from the game, even mixing them up in new ways like the ice skating and disappearing and reappearing platforms. Then the final challenge to get to Bowser, being this spinning lava cylinder with tons of enemies, is as challenging as it is cool. This doesn't just feel like a final level. This, with the amazing soundtrack, does feel like the fate of the universe. Then you square off against Bowser one last time. You've faced him before, but now he's got even more moves, and you fight him from planet to planet. It's the perfect amount of difficulty, the perfect length, and the perfect end to a perfect game. The fate of the universe is easily Mario Galaxy's greatest star. And that is all 121 stars in Mario Galaxy ranked. What did you think of my takes? Are you unsubscribing from SwitchTop? Are you hiring a bounty hunter to break my chins? Let me know in the comments below. 2,000 likes and we'll do a Mario Galaxy 2 stars ranking as well. Anyways, thanks for watching the video as always, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.